My child, before this morning fully begins, sit with me for just a few minutes. I know this tiredness, not the kind that a good night's sleep fixes, not the kind that goes away after a weekend of rest. This is a deeper tiredness, the kind that has settled into your bones after years of carrying, years of holding on, years of simply getting up and doing what needed to be done, day after day, long after anyone noticed how much it was costing you. You wake up already tired some mornings, don't you? Before the day has even started, before a single task has been done. Your body already feels like it has run a race it never agreed to run. That is not weakness, my child. That is weariness, a very different thing. Weakness fails. Weariness has been faithful for a very long time, and it is simply asking to finally be allowed to rest. Tonight, no, this morning, I want to tell you something I need you to carry with you into today and every day after it. I am healing your weary bones. Not because you did something wrong to become tired, but because you have carried so much for so long that your very frame has grown tired of carrying it alone. This kind of tiredness rarely gets spoken out loud. People ask, "How are you?" and you say, "Fine," because the real answer feels too heavy to hand to someone in a passing hallway conversation. You have learned to carry your exhaustion quietly, the way you have learned to carry everything else quietly, because somewhere along the way, you decided that other people had enough of their own weight to bear without yours added to it. But I have never once been too burdened to hear the real answer. I am not asking you for the version of your tiredness that fits into small talk. I want the whole truth this morning, the bone-deep, years-long, quiet exhaustion you have never fully said out loud to another living soul. Stay with me. Let me show you every place I have seen this weariness settle into you, and let me show you what it means to finally set some of it down. If you can hear my voice this morning, do one thing for me. Type, "Amen, I am tired, and I am not ashamed," in the comments below. Let it be your declaration that weariness is not a failure of your faith. It is simply the truth of how long you have been faithful. And if this message found you today, subscribe and turn on the bell beside my name. I bring a new message of healing every single morning and every single night, because weariness does not wait for a convenient hour, and neither does my comfort for you. Now, my child, let me sit with you in this quiet morning, and let me tell you everywhere I have seen this weariness living in your bones. I see you waking up after a full night in bed, and still, before your feet even touch the floor, feeling the same heaviness you fell asleep carrying, as if rest itself has stopped being able to reach the tiredness that has settled the deepest inside you. I see you caring for a spouse, a parent, someone you love who needs you constantly, and I see the specific exhaustion of never truly being off duty, of listening for a call in the night, even in the middle of your own dreams, of loving someone so much that your own rest has quietly become the thing you sacrifice for them. I see the ache in your body that isn't from one single injury, but from an entire lifetime of labor. Decades of lifting, standing, working, showing up. A fatigue too old and too woven into you to trace back to any one moment. Simply the accumulated cost of a life spent working hard. I see you being the strong one in every family gathering, every crisis, every hard season, the one everyone leans on. And I see how rarely anyone thinks to ask how you are managing to hold up everyone else while nothing holds up you. I see you waking up and your very first thought of the day is not hope, not gratitude, but simply, how do I get through today? A quiet dread settling in before your feet even find the floor. I see you standing in a grocery store aisle, needing to pause and rest for a moment against the cart, remembering when errands like this used to cost you nothing at all, grieving quietly the version of your body that used to move through the world without asking permission. I see you at the bottom of a staircase you have climbed 1,000 times, gathering yourself before you start, feeling the specific grief of a body slowing down, a body that used to simply obey you and now negotiates with you instead. I see the exhaustion of financial struggle that has stretched on for years, never quite catching up, never quite getting ahead. The particular tiredness of working hard and still lying awake doing math in your head that never comes out right. I see the weariness of holding on to hope for a situation that has not changed in a very long time. A health issue, a family relationship, a prayer you have prayed so many times you have started to wonder if it is even still being heard. I see you praying the same prayer, year after year, watching the sky for an answer that has not come yet. And I see how tired a heart can grow simply from hoping faithfully for so long without seeing the thing it hopes for. I see the quiet exhaustion of managing a chronic illness, the appointments, the medications, the symptoms that never fully resolve, the sheer administrative and physical weariness of a body that requires constant maintenance simply to keep functioning. I see you going through the motions of your faith some mornings, showing up, saying the words, singing the songs, while feeling almost nothing at all, exhausted even in the part of your life that is supposed to restore you. I see you raising grandchildren in a season of life you thought would finally be about rest, feeling the specific weariness of starting again at an age when your body has less left to give than it did the first time around. I see the hobbies and small joys you used to love, the garden, the long walks, the sewing, the fishing, starting to feel like one more obligation your tired body can barely meet. And I see the grief hidden inside that quiet shrinking of joy. I see the night's pain or worry keeps you awake, one after another, an exhaustion that compounds on itself because even the hours meant for rest have stopped offering it to you. I see the weariness of always having to be the resilient one, the one who copes, the one who holds it together, never once getting the chance to simply fall apart and let someone else carry things for a while. I see you driving long distances for medical appointments, your own or someone else's, exhausted before the visit even begins, simply from the logistics of getting there, waiting, and driving home again. I see the mental fatigue of managing a household alone now, every decision landing on you that used to be shared, the sheer tiredness of deciding everything by yourself, day after day, with no one to divide the weight of it. I see you waking at 3 in the morning out of pure habit, your body trained by years of listening for someone else's need, unable to fully rest even on the nights when there is nothing left to listen for. I see the exhausting work of forgiving the same person, the same wound, the same unresolved situation over and over again. A tiredness that comes not from one betrayal, but from having to release it again and again just to keep moving forward. I see you still showing up for the responsibilities you've carried for decades. At church, in the community, in the family, long after your body asked you to stop, afraid that if you step back, no one else will carry what you've carried. I see the particular exhaustion grief leaves behind, long after the loss itself, a tiredness in your very bones that people stopped expecting you to still feel, even though grief never fully finished asking things of your body. I see the mental weariness of a world that keeps demanding you learn something new. Another app, another system, another way of doing things you used to do simply. Exhausting you in a way that has nothing to do with age and everything to do with how relentless change has become. I see the toll of chronic pain that flares without warning, forcing you to plan your whole life around energy you cannot predict. Exhausted not only by the pain itself, but by the constant vigilance of managing around it. I see you working long past the age you thought you'd be able to rest, not by choice, but by necessity. Exhausted in a season of life the world told you was supposed to be easier by now. I see you maintaining a home, a yard, a property alone as your body ages, climbing ladders and lifting things you probably shouldn't anymore, simply because the work still needs doing, and there is no one else to do it. I see you serving as the memory, the anchor for someone you love who is declining, repeating stories, answering the same question for the 10th time today, holding a whole shared history alone now because they can no longer help carry it with you. I see you making small talk, showing up to gatherings, smiling for others' sake, even on days your own reserves are completely empty. Because you have never learned how to simply say, "I don't have it in me today." I see you waking up sore in a new place each year, surprised again and again by a body that keeps finding new limits, grieving quietly each time a new thing becomes hard that never used to be. I see the waiting rooms that have become a routine part of your life now. Specialists, therapists, labs, follow-ups, an entire second unpaid job of simply managing your own health or someone else's. I see you holding the role of peacemaker, historian, keeper of family tradition across every generation under your roof, exhausted by a responsibility nobody else in the family even realizes exists, let alone how heavy it has become. I see the theological weariness underneath all of this, the tiredness of not understanding why suffering lasts so long, why prayers take years to answer, why faith sometimes feels like carrying a question with no reply. I see you always available by phone for the next family emergency, never fully able to relax even during rest, because some part of you stays on call for a crisis that could come at any hour. I see you playing go-between for family members who don't get along, translating one person's hurt to another, exhausted by a peacekeeping role no one appointed you to, but everyone expects you to keep filling. I see the particular fatigue of growing older and having fewer people left to lean on. Friends who have passed, friends who have moved, friends who have grown too frail themselves to be leaned on the way they once were. I see you doing the stretches, the exercises, the small physical therapies just to keep your body functioning normally, exhausted by how much maintenance it now takes simply to move through an ordinary day. I see you always the one to initiate the phone call, the visit, the plan, quietly aware that if you stopped reaching out first, the silence on the other end might stretch on indefinitely. I see you masking pain in front of your grandchildren, smiling through the ache so they won't worry, carrying the extra weight of performing wellness for the sake of people you love too much to burden. I see the tiredness of trying, year after year, to manage your health the way the doctors ask. The diet, the exercise, the routines, and the specific weariness of trying so hard for so long without the lasting results you hoped for. I see you still showing up to help move furniture, watch grandchildren, lend a hand, even when your own body is running on empty. Because saying no still feels harder than pushing through the exhaustion. I see the accumulation of small, constant pains that never quite warrant a doctor's visit on their own, but that add up day after day into a quiet, ongoing fatigue nobody else can see. I see the frustration of hearing, "You don't look tired," or "You don't look sick," from people who cannot see the exhaustion happening beneath the surface. The loneliness of a weariness the world keeps failing to notice. I see the toll of losing friends, one by one, at this stage of life. Funeral after funeral, phone number after phone number no longer answered. And the exhausting effort of maintaining composure through a repeated kind of loss the younger years never prepared you for. I see you serving as the translator for a spouse or friend who struggles with technology, paperwork, and modern systems, quietly carrying a second, unpaid job of literacy and patience that never officially ends. I see the retirement you looked forward to for years turn into a different kind of labor. Grandchildren to watch, siblings to care for, a household that still needs running, rest that never quite arrived the way you pictured it. I see the frustration of being told to just relax by people who have never had to carry a responsibility that never fully ends, who mean well, but have no idea how impossible that advice sounds to someone in your position. I see you juggling the medical calendars of multiple people you love at once, your own appointments tangled up with theirs, an entire logistics operation running quietly in your mind at all times. I see you as the one who remembers every birthday, every anniversary, every appointment for the whole family, the invisible keeper of dates and details that everyone else simply relies on you to hold. I see you putting on a brave face at church, at community gatherings, greeting people warmly while exhaustion sits just beneath the surface, because showing up cheerful has become another quiet task you perform out of love. I see you sorting through a lifetime of belongings alone, yours, a parent's, a spouse's, the specific exhaustion of deciding what stays and what goes, item by item, memory by memory, with no one to share the weight of those decisions. I see the drained feeling that follows every phone call with a difficult family member, and the quiet dread that builds in the hours before the next one, an emotional tax that never shows up on any calendar but is paid every single time. I see the compounded exhaustion of aging alongside a spouse who also now needs care. Two bodies slowing down at once, doubling the labor right at the exact season you both hoped to finally lean on each other more, not less. I see the small, quiet reminders every morning, the joints that crack, the stiffness that takes longer to work out than it used to, each one a tiny signal of a body that is wearing down, one ordinary morning at a time. I see you tracking medication schedules for more than one person in your household, a mental load of dosages and timing that runs constantly in the background of your mind, whether or not anyone else realizes it's there. I see you constantly reassuring an anxious adult child or grandchild about your own health, performing confidence you don't always feel, absorbing their worry on top of your own so they don't have to carry it. I see you serving faithfully at your church or in your community for decades, and I see the quiet ache of starting to feel invisible, unappreciated, wondering if anyone even notices the labor anymore. I see the low, constant hum of worry about outliving your savings, a background exhaustion that never fully turns off, coloring even ordinary decisions with a quiet financial dread. I see how a simple cold or flu that used to pass in a few days now takes weeks to fully leave your body. And I see the discouragement of a body that no longer bounces back the way it once did. I see you sitting down at the end of the day and realizing you cannot remember the last time you did something purely for your own joy, without it being for someone else's benefit or necessity. I see you rationing your energy in the morning like a limited resource, deciding early which tasks matter enough to spend your strength on and which ones will simply have to wait for a day that may never come. I see the tiredness of constantly adjusting your expectations of yourself, quietly grieving the pace and capacity you used to have without ever fully speaking that grief out loud to anyone. I see you pushing through a task anyway, even when every part of your body is asking you to stop, because stopping has always felt to you like the one thing you are not allowed to do. I see the exhaustion of being underestimated because of your age, having to prove your competence again and again to people who assume too much about what you can no longer do. I see the weariness of always being expected to show a blessed, cheerful face at church and in the family, even in seasons when your heart is genuinely struggling, as if your faith were only convincing when it looks effortless. I see you doing your own repairs, your own maintenance, taking on tasks that used to be hired out, simply to stretch a fixed income further, exhausted by the physical toll of saving money the only way you know how. I see the fatigue of coordinating a parent's or a sibling's care from a distance. Endless phone calls, endless logistics, endless worry. Carrying the mental weight of caregiving without even the comfort of being physically present. I see you helping others through their grief while barely finding time to grieve your own losses fully, pouring comfort out to everyone around you while your own unprocessed sorrow waits quietly in line. I see you standing as the last one left of your generation in the family, the last one who remembers certain stories, certain faces, certain days, carrying an entire family's history alone now, with no one left who remembers it exactly the way you do. I see how a single afternoon of deep cleaning or organizing now costs you days of recovery, a trade that used to be effortless and now requires careful planning around how much your body can give. I see the exhausting hypervigilance of watching every step, testing every surface, bracing for a fall that hasn't happened yet, but that you think about more than you'd ever admit out loud. I see the constant low hum of background pain that never fully disappears, simply shifting from one place to another. A companion so continuous, you've almost forgotten what it feels like to be without it. I see you leading a support group, a prayer circle, a Bible study, expected to always be the encourager, the steady one, exhausted by the pressure of appearing endlessly inspired when your own heart sometimes needs the encouragement more than anyone else in the room. I see all of it, my child. Every morning that begins already tired, every year of caregiving, of labor, of holding faith without answers, every ache too old to trace to one cause, every quiet, exhausted prayer whispered into a silence that has lasted far too long. You have been so faithful in your weariness. You kept showing up even on the mornings it cost you everything just to stand up. You kept loving, kept working, kept praying, kept hoping. And somewhere in all of that faithfulness, No one ever told you that it was allowed to cost you this much, or that you were allowed to say out loud, "I am simply tired." Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." I did not write that only for people in crisis. I wrote it for the ordinary, accumulated exhaustion of a life spent faithfully carrying more than most people ever see. I wrote it for the version of tired that has no single cause you can point to, not one illness, not one crisis, not one bad night, but the slow accumulation of 1,000 small burdens carried faithfully, quietly, for years. That kind of weariness deserves rest just as much as any single crisis does. And I have never once measured your need for rest by how dramatic your exhaustion looks from the outside. So this morning, I am healing your weary bones. I am healing the exhaustion that sleep no longer touches. Isaiah 40 says, "I give power to the faint, and to him who has no might, I increase strength. They who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." That renewal does not always look like sudden energy. Sometimes it looks like me simply carrying what your body cannot carry anymore, so that what's left of your strength goes further than it should. I am healing the exhaustion of caregiving. I see every night you listened for a need that wasn't even yours to carry alone. I am standing watch with you now, and I am giving you permission, real permission, to rest even while you love someone who needs you. I am healing the ache that comes from decades of labor. Your body has done exactly what I asked of it for all these years, faithfully, and I am not disappointed that it is tired now. I am proud of everything it carried, and I am gently, patiently restoring what it spent. I am healing the loneliness of being everyone's strong one. I see you, my child, even when no one else thinks to ask. I am asking you now, how are you? And I already know the honest answer, and I am not asking you to hide it from me. I am healing the dread that greets you before your feet touch the floor. I am replacing it, slowly, with a smaller, steadier thing. Not always joy right away, but the simple knowledge that you do not have to get through today by yourself. I am healing the body that needs to rest against the cart in the grocery store, the body that pauses at the bottom of the stairs. I do not measure your worth by your pace. I am walking exactly as slowly as you need me to, every single day, for as long as it takes. I am healing the exhaustion of financial struggle that never seems to end. I am your provider, even in seasons that don't look like abundance. And I am carrying the weight of the math that keeps you up at night, even when the numbers themselves haven't changed yet. I am healing the weariness of hoping for so long without an answer. Your hope has never been wasted, even on the days it felt exhausting to keep having it. I am still working, quietly, in every situation you have prayed over for years. I am healing the tiredness in that same prayer prayed again and again. I hear it every single time, exactly as freshly as the first time you prayed it. And I am not tired of hearing it, even if you are tired of praying it. I am healing the exhaustion of managing an illness that requires so much of you. I am present in every appointment, every dose, every symptom you manage alone. and I am giving you strength that renews itself even when your body's own resources feel spent. I am healing the tiredness in your faith itself. Even faith needs rest sometimes. You do not have to feel something every single morning for your faith to be real. I am present in the numb mornings just as fully as I am present in the ones that move you to tears. I am healing the weariness of raising children again in a season meant for rest. I am adding to your strength what your body no longer has to spare, and I am not asking you to do this the way you did it 30 years ago. I am doing it with you, differently, gently, this time. I am healing the grief of hobbies that now feel like burdens. Joy does not require the same amount of strength it once did. I am helping you find smaller, gentler ways to still meet the things you love, even if they look different now than they used to. I am healing the nights that pain or worry steal from you. I am present in every wakeful hour, and I am slowly restoring what those nights have taken, even if the restoration comes gradually rather than all at once. I am healing the exhaustion of always needing to be resilient. Tonight, this morning, you are allowed to set some of it down. You do not have to be strong in front of me. I already know exactly how tired you are, and I love you exactly as much in this tired moment as I do on your strongest day. I am healing the exhaustion of those long drives to appointments. I am present in the waiting, the driving, the logistics that wear you down before the actual visit even begins. And I am renewing your strength for the road as much as for the destination. I am healing the fatigue of deciding everything alone now. I am placing wisdom in your path for the decisions that feel too heavy. And I am carrying the weight of the ones you're too tired to make perfectly. I am healing the trained habit of waking at 3 in the morning. I am gently retraining your body toward rest, patiently, the same way I am patient with everything else that takes time to heal. I am healing the exhaustion of forgiving the same wound again and again. I am not asking you to forgive perfectly in one motion. I am walking with you through every fresh round of releasing it, for as long as it takes. I am healing the weariness of responsibilities carried for decades. I am not asking you to carry all of it forever. I am already preparing others to help carry what's next, even if you cannot yet see who that will be. I am healing the tiredness grief leaves in your very bones, long after others expected it to be finished with you. I do not put a timeline on how long grief is allowed to still ask things of your body, and neither should you. I am healing the mental exhaustion of relentless change. I am giving you patience for what you don't yet understand, and I am not measuring your worth by how quickly you keep up with a world that moves faster every year. I am healing the vigilance chronic pain requires of you. I am present in the flares you cannot predict, and I am giving you grace for the plans that have to bend around a body that does not always cooperate. I am healing the exhaustion of working past the age you expected rest to begin. I know exactly how unfair that timeline feels, and I am supplying strength for a season you never planned on still laboring through. I am healing the fatigue of maintaining a home and property alone. I am placing help in your path where I can, and I am giving you grace for the tasks that simply have to wait or go undone without that meaning you have failed. I am healing the exhaustion of being someone's memory, someone's anchor. I already hold the whole of your shared history safely, so you do not have to carry every piece of it perfectly by yourself. I am healing the tiredness behind the small talk, the smiles you give even on empty days. You do not owe the world your energy when you have none left. I already see the truth behind the smile, and I am not asking you to perform anything for me. I am healing the grief of a body that keeps finding new limits. I am not disappointed in what your body can no longer do. I am gentle with every new soreness, every new limitation, the same way I am gentle with everything else that changes over time. I am healing the exhaustion of that second unpaid job of waiting rooms and appointments. I am present in every one of those long waits, and I am renewing your patience even when the process itself does not speed up. I am healing the invisible weight of being the family's peacemaker, historian, and keeper of tradition. I see the role nobody else notices you're carrying, and I am not asking you to carry it without support forever. I am healing the theological weariness of not understanding why. I do not require you to have an answer to hold on to faith. Even without full understanding, I am still fully present, still fully good, still fully at work in what you cannot yet see. I am healing the exhaustion of always being on call for the next emergency. I am giving you permission to fully rest sometimes, trusting that I am watching over the people you love, even in the hours you allow yourself to be unreachable. I am healing the fatigue of standing between family members who won't reconcile on their own. I am not asking you to carry every relationship in your family by yourself. I am already working in hearts you cannot control, in my own timing. I am healing the loneliness of having fewer people left to lean on. I am not a friend who moves away, grows too frail, or passes on. I am a constant presence for every season, including this one where the circle around you has grown smaller. I am healing the weariness of the maintenance your body now requires. I see every stretch, every exercise, every small effort just to keep moving. And I honor every bit of that quiet discipline as an act of faithfulness, not a burden to apologize for. I am healing the loneliness of always reaching out first. I know exactly how that silence would feel if you stopped, and I am healing both the fear underneath it and the exhaustion of always being the one who initiates. I am healing the weight of masking pain for the sake of people you love. I see the real ache behind every brave smile you give your grandchildren, and I am carrying what you hide from them, so you don't have to carry it entirely alone. I am healing the weariness of trying so hard for so long without the lasting results you hoped for. Your effort was never wasted, even when the outcome disappointed you. I see every attempt as faithfulness, not failure. I am healing the exhaustion of always saying yes when your body needs you to rest. I am giving you the strength to say no sometimes without guilt, trusting that love does not require you to run on empty to prove itself. I am healing the quiet fatigue of small, constant pains that never add up to a diagnosis, but still cost you every single day. I see every one of them, even the ones too small to mention to anyone else. I am healing the loneliness of a tiredness the world keeps failing to notice. I see exactly what is happening beneath your surface, even when no one else can. And I never once mistake your strength for the absence of exhaustion. I am healing the weight of losing friends, one after another, at this stage of your life. I am becoming more and more the steady presence that remains when so many others have gone. And I am not going anywhere. I am healing the quiet, unpaid labor of translating the modern world for someone you love. I see every ounce of patience that requires, and I am renewing your patience even on the days it feels completely spent. I am healing the disappointment of a retirement that never brought the rest you expected. I see every hope you had for this season, and I am not finished bringing rest into it, even if it looks different than you imagined. I am healing the frustration of well-meaning advice that doesn't fit your reality. I understand the difference between resting once and carrying a responsibility that never fully ends. And I am not asking you to simply relax your way out of a real and ongoing weight. I am healing the mental exhaustion of juggling everyone's medical calendars at once. I am organizing what feels chaotic, even when you cannot see how, and I am giving you clarity for the details that matter most. I am healing the invisible labor of being the family's keeper of dates and details. I remember every one of them, too, perfectly, and I am not asking you to be the only one who never forgets. I am healing the exhaustion behind your brave face at church and in your community. I see you fully, exactly as tired as you are, even while you greet others warmly. And I love you no less for the effort that costs you. I am healing the weight of sorting a lifetime of belongings alone. I am present in every decision, every memory you touch, and I am gentle with you in a process that was never meant to be rushed or done perfectly. I am healing the toll of every draining phone call and the dread that builds before the next one. I am present in that conversation before it happens, softening what I can and giving you peace in what I cannot change. I am healing the doubled exhaustion of aging beside a spouse who also needs care now. I am carrying what neither of you can fully carry for each other anymore, and I am providing help in ways you have not yet seen. I am healing the discouragement of a body that reminds you each morning that it is wearing down. I am not ashamed of a single crack or ache. I am tending to your body gently, the same way I have tended to it every single day of your life. I am healing the mental load of tracking medications, dosages, timing for more than yourself. I am organizing what feels scattered in your mind, and I am giving you moments of mental rest even in the middle of that ongoing responsibility. I am healing the exhaustion of constantly reassuring worried loved ones about your own health. I am carrying the truth of how you're really doing, fully, even on the days you soften it for their sake. I am healing the ache of feeling invisible after decades of faithful service. I see every year of it clearly, completely, and I promise you, none of it has gone unnoticed by me, even on the days it felt unnoticed by everyone else. I am healing the quiet financial dread that hums beneath your days. I am your provider in every season, and I am working even in the numbers you cannot yet see change. I am healing the discouragement of a body that heals more slowly than it used to. Slower does not mean broken. I am still at work in your recovery, patiently, at whatever pace your body now requires. I am healing the ache of not remembering the last time you did something purely for your own joy. I am inviting you back into small moments that exist simply because you enjoy them, without needing to justify their usefulness to anyone, including yourself. I am healing the exhausting practice of rationing your energy like a scarce resource. I am your true source of strength, and I am not limited the way your body is. Draw from me first, and let your own reserves matter a little less. I am healing the quiet grief of a changing pace and capacity. I am not comparing who you are now to who you used to be. I love the person standing in front of me today exactly as much as I loved every version of you that came before. I am healing the instinct to push through even when your body begs you to stop. Stopping is allowed, my child. It always has been. I am not keeping score of the moments you finally chose to rest instead of pushing forward. I am healing the exhaustion of being underestimated. I know exactly what you are still capable of, and I am not asking you to prove it to anyone who doubts you. Your worth was never up for debate in my eyes. I am healing the weariness of performing cheerfulness on command. Your faith is not less real on the days it looks tired, worn, or quietly struggling. I see the truth beneath every brave face, and I love you fully in both. I am healing the physical toll of stretching a fixed income through your own labor. I am your provider, even in seasons of careful math, and I am giving your body grace for the extra work it takes on to make ends meet. I am healing the fatigue of long-distance caregiving. I am present with your loved one, even when you cannot physically be, and I am easing the mental weight of coordinating care from far away. I am healing the imbalance of comforting everyone else while your own grief waits. I am gathering what you have set aside for later, and I promise you, later is allowed to come. Your grief has not expired simply because you postponed it to help others. I am healing the loneliness of being the last one who remembers. I am the keeper of every story, every face, every day that generation ever lived, and I am not losing a single piece of it, even after you are the only one left who remembers it firsthand. I am healing the exhaustion that follows a single afternoon of hard work. I am not measuring your worth by how quickly you recover. I am giving your body the time it needs, without shame attached to how long that takes. I am healing the hypervigilance of bracing for a fall that hasn't happened. I am steadying your steps even when you cannot feel it, and I am gently easing the constant tension of watching for danger every moment of every day. I am healing the background hum of pain that never fully leaves. I am present in it, even when it does not disappear. And I am not distant simply because the discomfort continues. I am healing the pressure of always being the encourager, the steady one, the leader others lean on for hope. I see the tired heart underneath your steady voice, and I am refilling you even as you keep pouring out for others. You do not have to prove your faithfulness by refusing to rest. You do not have to carry every single thing you have carried for years, forever, without ever setting any of it down. Rest was never the opposite of faith. It has always been one of its deepest expressions. Trusting that I can hold what you can no longer hold alone. If this message is bringing you comfort this morning, subscribe and share it with someone else who has been quietly running on empty. There's likely someone in your life right now, a caregiver, a friend still working hard in their later years, someone holding a family together who has never once been given permission to simply say, "I am tired." Let this be the message that gives them that permission, the same way I am giving it to you. Maybe it is a friend from church who still shows up every week despite exhaustion no one asks about. Maybe it is a sibling caring for an aging parent with no help. Maybe it is your own adult child, already tired in a way you recognize all too well. Send this to them this morning. Let it be the reminder that their weariness, too, is seen, and that rest was never meant to be something they have to earn. Now, my child, let's talk honestly about the doubts that come with weariness like this. You may think, but everyone is tired. Why should mine matter more than anyone else's? Your weariness does not need to be worse than anyone else's to matter to me. I am not comparing your exhaustion to a scale. I see it exactly as it is, in you, and it matters simply because you matter. You may think, if I rest, won't everything I've been holding together fall apart? My child, some things may shift when you rest, and I am not promising they won't. But I am promising that I am capable of holding what you set down, even temporarily, and that you resting does not undo the years of faithful work you have already done. You may think, shouldn't my faith be stronger than this tiredness? Real believers don't get this exhausted, do they? Even Elijah, one of the boldest prophets I ever used, collapsed under a tree and asked to die from sheer exhaustion after a great victory. I did not scold him. I sent an angel to feed him and let him sleep, twice, before I asked anything else of him. Rest was my first response to his weariness, not a rebuke of his faith. You may think, what if I rest and I still don't feel any better? Healing weariness this deep does not always happen instantly. Sometimes it happens the way a tired field recovers, season by season, rest by rest, small mercy by small mercy. I am not asking you to feel completely renewed tonight. I am only asking you to let this be one of the nights that begins the renewing. You may think, what if the thing that's exhausting me never changes? The caregiving, the illness, the financial strain. Even if the circumstance does not change quickly, I promise you, the way I carry you through it can. I am not only the God who removes burdens. I am the God who walks beside you inside the ones that remain, giving you strength that outlasts the circumstance itself. You may think, what if I don't even know how to rest anymore? It's been so long since I let myself stop. Rest is not a skill you have lost forever. It is more like a muscle that has simply gone quiet from disuse. I am patient in teaching you again, one small permission at a time, the way I would teach anyone something they have forgotten how to do. You may think, what if resting means I'm giving up on the people who depend on me? Resting is not the same as abandoning. Even I rested on the seventh day, not because creation was unfinished, but because rest was always part of the design, never a betrayal of the work already done. Modeling rest for the people who depend on you may be one of the most important things you ever teach them. So tonight, let go of the belief that your worth is measured by how much you can carry without resting. Let go of the fear that admitting tiredness makes you weak or unfaithful or ungrateful. You are simply human, carrying a very human amount of weight for a very long time. And I am here to carry some of it with you. Now, my child, let us pray together. Place your hand over your heart and repeat these words, either out loud or quietly in your spirit. Father, tonight I bring you this weariness I have carried for so long, in my body, in my caregiving, in my hoping, in my faith itself. I confess I have believed that resting means failing, that tiredness means I am not faithful enough. Tonight I release that belief into your hands. Thank you for seeing exactly how much I have carried and for offering to carry some of it with me now. Renew my strength the way only you can, in your timing, in your way. Let me rest without guilt tonight, trusting that you are holding what I cannot hold a moment longer. In your name, amen. And if there is one specific weight tonight that feels heavier than all the rest, a particular responsibility, a particular ache, a particular fear about tomorrow, bring it to me now, by name, in your own words. Father, you already know exactly what is wearing me down the most right now. You know the specific task, the specific person, the specific pain that has drained me more than anything else. I lay it in your hands tonight. I ask you to carry it fully while I rest, so that when I wake, I am not picking it back up exactly where exhaustion left it, but continuing forward with strength that is truly yours and not only mine. Thank you for never growing tired of holding what I bring you. In your name, amen. Now, my child, let go, just for these next few minutes. You do not have to solve your exhaustion before you rest. You do not have to carry tomorrow's burdens tonight on top of everything you're already carrying. Right now, you only have to rest. I am already holding what you have been carrying. The caregiving, the labor, the hope you have kept even when it was exhausting to keep it. Let your shoulders soften. Let your hands unclench. Let your breathing slow. In and out. Exodus tells my people, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." That promise was not only for a desert journey thousands of years ago. It is for this exact tired morning, this exact tired body, this exact tired heart. Jeremiah 31 says, "I will refresh the weary and satisfy the faint." That refreshing does not always come all at once. Sometimes it comes exactly like this, one quiet, restful moment at a time, gently restoring what years of faithful labor have spent. Let your body grow heavy and calm. Let your breathing slow further. In and out. I am not asking you to be strong right now. I am asking you to simply rest fully in the truth that your worth was never dependent on how tired you were willing to become for everyone else. Sleep, or simply rest, my child. I am watching over everything you have been carrying. I am watching over your body, your bones, the deep tiredness that has settled into every part of you. You do not have to hold it up by yourself for one more minute. Let your mind grow quiet, one thought at a time, the way a house grows quiet room by room, until only a single soft light remains. That light is me. I am not tired of you. I am not disappointed in your exhaustion. I am simply here, ready to carry what you have carried for far too long alone. Whatever tomorrow asks of you, another appointment, another act of caregiving, another quiet act of endurance, I am already there, supplying strength before you even need it. Isaiah 40 promises that those who wait on me will run and not be weary, walk and not faint. That promise is not for people who never get tired. It is for people exactly like you, who get tired often, and who keep coming back to me to be renewed again and again, for as many times as it takes. Psalm 23 says, "I make you lie down in green pastures and lead you beside still waters." Let this moment be that green pasture right now, wherever you are. Let your whole body sink into the truth that you are allowed to be still. Rest now. Let every task waiting for you tomorrow grow quiet in your mind tonight. Let every ache in your body soften, just slightly, under the weight of my presence instead of your own. Let every year of faithful labor be honored tonight, simply by allowing yourself this rest. You do not have to earn this rest. You do not have to justify it. You do not have to feel guilty for needing it as badly as you do. I am healing your weary bones. I am healing your weary spirit. I am healing the tiredness you have never told anyone about. I am renewing your strength, slowly, the way I always do. Not all at once, but faithfully, the same way you have faithfully carried everything up until now. Rest now, and let me carry the rest of today for you. Rest now, and let me carry tomorrow too, before it even arrives. You are not alone in this tiredness, my child. You never have been. Every single morning you have gotten up despite exhaustion, I was there, strengthening you more than you realized. Every single night you fell asleep, still carrying more than one person should carry alone. I was already lifting a portion of that weight before your eyes ever closed. Rest now.